Well, I'm going to take you to a user machine here, and you can see we've got a Windows machine here. I'm going to open up the Real-Time Control Center, and I'm going to go and manually trigger one of these surveys. So I've got a few that are assigned to my management group that I'm in. One of them is asking about performance of teams. I'm going to say that at the moment it's very good. It's loading really fast at the moment. And then we're going to submit that feedback. And that's going to be then available within the platform, the One platform, which I'll take you to now. And we'll go and click on the experience analytics piece, which is what contains our user engagement area. I'm going to click on the user sentiment for Microsoft Teams. And there's the survey that we've sent out for Teams. And we can see there's my response from my laptop, which is the one we showed you a minute ago, ENA 5510, loading really fast. So you can see instantly my responses are available. And we get a good overview of the general sentiment from this particular survey. We've got a very good response here from a large majority of the estate, good from a small area, and then poor is only a very small amount of devices within the estate. Obviously, the more devices you deploy this out to, then the more granular the data will be. But essentially, we can gather this data and view it in a one-stop place here. We can then filter these out, so we can say, maybe I only want to see responses from a device with 8 gigabytes of RAM. As a management group, we have to find here, then we can do that. Maybe we want to filter by location. We can choose, to choose only London or any of the devices, and then only see responses from those areas. You can see device models, another option here as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can start to filter through that data. But we can also provide announcements out. So if there's something happening or there's an outage or we want to make users aware of something that's happening in the future, we can also push out these announcements. And it's important to note that these two info surveys and announcement surveys don't affect the overall sentiment scores. And you can see here, these are the sentiment scores. In this case, this demo environment, it's quite poor. We've got a lot of negative sentiment, but this is purely for demo purposes. But the concept here is you can see that very clearly, and then you can allow it to go and maybe show the users who have provided the poorest feedback or the least happy. We can go and click on those and then dive into that in more detail. And again, it's all filterable by all of the standard things that we filter within the platform. We have some examples of user sentiments. I have customers who use this to track the performance of Teams. They have a situation where they would look at how many times Teams has crashed over the last 7 days. And if it's crashed over, say, 3 times, then they will tag that device with a particular tag that will tell them something like, Teams performance issue. If I go and find my device here, I can show you what those tags look like. We'll just go and filter down to my particular device. And you'll see that we have some device tags down here. So we have that it's a home-based machine. We have tagged that it's in London and that it's one of my own machines. It's tagged with that, and it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM. In here, we would tag that with Teams crashes if it's had more than 3 crashes in the last 7 days. And then we can create a survey that asks users about what maybe they're doing when their Teams crashes. Is it during calls? Is it when they're looking at files? Whatever it is that they're doing, and then try and get a better understanding of that issue. So using those dynamic tags to perform management group memberships, as you can see here for RAM, for example, we've tagged the device with 32 gigabytes of RAM using one of our automations. And then that means that about 3 or 4 times a day, that will check and allow itself to be joined into that management group. And therefore, we can use that to filter out access to those surveys. And then how often they're going to occur to the user as well.